As part 2. To start this video, I wanted to talk more about as if, as though. Remember I said that these are like, as if, as though, like. We use these phrases to talk about how something seems, right? What is our reaction? What is our feeling about something? Maybe we see something, we hear something, we taste something, we feel something. And we talk about our reaction, what we see, what we hear, what we taste. It looks as though it's going to snow tomorrow. So I'm outside and I look outside and yeah, it looks as if, as though, it looks like, all the same meaning, it's going to snow tomorrow. Now, when I use this phrase, as if or as though or like, maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. I don't know. So it looks as if it's going to snow. Well, maybe it's going to snow. Maybe it's not going to snow. Let's look at another example. She sounds as though she's sick. Maybe she's sick. Maybe she's not sick. I don't know. But I'm talking about this because in the first video, I didn't explain. Sometimes we use as if, as though, or like to talk about things that are not true. We know they're not true. Let's look at an example. She talks as if, as though, she talks like she had more experience. Now, had. This sentence is not talking about the past. This sentence is talking about the present. We use as if, as though, like with the past tense to say that this is not true. So she doesn't have a lot of experience, but she talks as if she has, no, it's not true. She had more experience. In English, when we talk about things that we know are not true, in many grammatical structures, we use the past tense. You guys, maybe you have studied the second conditional. If I were you, I'm not you. It's not true. So we use the past tense. If I were, if I was is okay. But when we're talking about things that are not true, usually be the past tense, we use were for I, you, he, she, we, they, everything. Was is okay, but were is better. Let's look at another example. Please don't speak to me as though or as if or like you were my boss. So you are not my boss. Why are you talking to me that way? Please don't speak to me as if you were. You're not. So please don't speak to me as if you were my boss. Another example with were. Now we have he were. He was, again, it's okay, but were is better English. He always drives as if he were invincible. Now, maybe a new word for you, invincible. Invincible means nobody can hurt you. Nobody can damage you. Nobody can break you. Nobody can destroy you. Nobody can kill you, right? Invincible. We know he is not invincible. He's a person. Nobody is invincible. But he drives as if, it's not true. He drives as if he were invincible. He's not invincible. That's the meaning. Okay, now let's look at some collocations with as. A collocation means words that go together. So let's look at some words that we often say with as. Now the first one is a verb phrase, to serve as or to act as. They're the same meaning, serve as, act as. Now guys, maybe you think you understand serve or act, but this meaning is a little different. And here is the meaning. To serve as or to act as means to function as. Function means to work. It works as. To function as means the usage of something. How do we use it? What is the role of something? What is the meaning of something? Same meaning to substitute for. Substitute means like instead, in place. Think about soccer or football. Cristiano Ronaldo has been playing for 70 minutes. He's tired. Okay, he goes off and a new player enters the game. This is called a substitution. Okay, the new player comes into the game in place of Cristiano Ronaldo. And to play the role of, we say play the role of, but it means to serve as, to act as. It means it has the role. It has the role of something. I know this is difficult. I think let's get to some examples and you will start to understand. Now, my office. I have an office, and usually the role, the job, the usage of my office is for me to work in, right? That's usually how I use my office. But it also serves, it also acts, it also functions, it also plays the role of a spare bedroom. Spare means extra, like a spare tire or a spare key. So we use my office in the role of a spare bedroom. Okay, so it serves as a spare bedroom. It acts as a spare bedroom. Let's look at another example. Now I'm eating a big, I don't know, maybe it's a sandwich. Sandwich sometimes is a snack, or maybe it's a big bag of chips. And oh man, this is a big snack. I think it'll act or serve as my dinner. Okay, the job of this snack is to be my dinner. Okay, so usually I eat a big meal for dinner, but this time this snack will be my dinner. It will substitute. Remember my example, the player entering the game for Cristiano Ronaldo? So the snack is replacing my dinner. Okay, so it's going to serve as my dinner. Now, another collocation with as is to be the same as. Now, I think you guys know this, right? To be the same as. Well, we could say Jack is the same age as Wendy if I'm talking about their age. I could say Jack is the same as Wendy. What do you mean? Well, I don't know, but they're the same. Jack is the same as Wendy. Or maybe Jack has the same haircut as Wendy. I don't know what kind of hair they have, but maybe that's possible. I think this one's pretty easy for you. Now, to use something, how? In what way? How do you use it? Which way? Well, remember I talked about that in the first video. As we use it to talk about which way, which usage. Well, how do you use something? Well, example, you can use a knife as a screwdriver. Maybe you don't have a screwdriver. Just use a knife. You can use a knife as a screwdriver. If you don't understand what this means, here's a short video to show you. Using a knife as a screwdriver. Another example is we used newspaper to start a fire, right? We use newspaper. How? In what way? Well, of course, we use newspaper as fuel, right? Fuel. The fuel is energy for a fire, right? We use newspaper as fuel to start a fire. Another collocation is to be known as, or not always passive, to know something as, or to know someone as. For this example, I searched the internet and I found information about Tim Berners-Lee. And if you don't know this person, I'm surprised because this guy is really famous and he's really important. Look here. Sir Timothy John Berners-Lee, blah, 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 also known as, sometimes in English we say AKA, also known as, and then we say another name that he uses. Tim BL is an English engineer and computer scientist. And this is short, it's condensed because it's from Wikipedia, but a full sentence. He is best known as. So people best know him as the inventor of the World Wide Web. He made web pages. Facebook. Well, he didn't invent Facebook, but Facebook is a thing thanks to Tim Berners-Lee. This guy is my hero. So people know him as, how do they know him? Well, he is the inventor of the World Wide Web. A similar collocation is to be regarded as. Now, regarded is more about how do people view, or what is their opinion about something, or how do people think of something. To be regarded as. Well, here, my example, I used a little bit difficult grammar, despite. Now, despite is a preposition. So that means we need despite with a noun or a noun phrase. And here I have a noun phrase, being regarded. So you guys probably know I can change a verb to a noun phrase, and that's called a gerund, right? With ing. So I use ing because despite is a preposition, and despite needs a noun or a noun phrase. So be regarded as, despite being regarded as so many people think, or many people's opinion about marijuana is it's a dangerous drug, right? Despite being regarded as a dangerous drug in many countries, marijuana is slowly becoming legal in the US and Canada. So this is, known is very similar here, but people know it as a dangerous drug. Well, regarded is a little bit different, right? Because regarded doesn't mean they're right. It just means that this is what people's opinion of marijuana is, right? So people know Tim Berners-Lee as the inventor. Yeah, that's true. People regard well, that means maybe it's not true. No, it is true. It is true. So maybe regard is a little bit strange here. Regarded is more about how do people think of something? What is people's opinion of something? Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. Very similar to regarded. Actually, I think it's the same. To be seen as, and in French we know regarder means to see, to look. So regard and see are the same meaning, really. But see not with my eyes, but sometimes you see something in your mind, and that's really talking about how you think about something, what is your opinion of something. The strong hurricanes this year can be seen, can be regarded as a sign, a signal, indication, maybe a new word. Indication means sign or signal. It's a sign. Maybe you can think of the hurricanes as a sign, a signal, a symptom that global warming is real. Many people say that global warming is not real. Well, look at the hurricanes this year. How do you explain that? Maybe the hurricanes are a signal that global warming is real. So maybe you should think about hurricanes right? Maybe you should think about them. So maybe you should see them as a signal. You should regard them as a signal. Now, to be defined as is also very common English, and be defined as just means mean. When we use defined as, usually we're talking about the definition. And definition, it means meaning of a word, So what am I talking about? Well, let's look at a dictionary. And if you're looking for, maybe you don't understand this word, accountant. Well, accountant means someone whose job, right? Accountant means. Well, you can see here is the definition. Someone whose job is to prepare financial, that's called a definition, meaning, right? So, accountant means someone whose job, right? Accountant is defined as someone whose job. That's actually pretty common, right? Accountant is defined as someone whose job is to prepare. Okay, I'm not going to read the definition.